Hey everybody, this is Saul Castañeda with mcscgreenwheels, and as you guys know, I'm not at home today. We're actually at the warehouse, and I'm getting some free assistance from April Rose.
Saul called me in because he actually doesn't know what he's doing today,
That's
so I
true.
have to guide every step of the way.
That's
I'm here for
true.
you.
Okay.
I got your back.
I'm down for that.
All right.
You know,
I'm the
it.
brains. He's the beauty of this whole production.
I can agree with that. Somewhat. But I will.
Look at this beautiful beard. Oh, you just want to, right?
See? Pay attention, guys. So we made a video earlier this month, and what we were trying to tell you and bring to you guys was this 1957 Corvette. So you guys could tell we got the stock engine in there, which is our
beautiful 283.
There you go. We have a double carburetor setup. One of the problems that runs into a couple of these 57 Corvettes, they overheat. Most likely due to the fact of how the radiator sits, or you would think that there's plenty of air coming in, but there isn't. So what we're doing with this guy, because he overheats, we're going to switch him out with this DeWitt's all aluminum radiator. Now we have the original one sitting over there, which is steel, but we're going to go with an electric fan setup. So we're going to need some small hands.
Is that me?
Yeah.
Because Filet here, can you show your hands? Look at these massive hands. So my idea was to just have him do everything. Because you wouldn't want
Mano Negra comes in when I'm not around. So what we're going to do, guys, we're going to knock off, we sent the radiator in back to DeWitt's. They did a real good job of sending us over a new fan. Now, this fan is actually a reduced size in the back. The back one was a lot bigger. The problem we were having, we kept slapping the sway bar. We'll show you once we start to get into it. Right now, we sent the radiator to DeWitt's. They sent it back. They sent us the new fan, which is a lower profile fan. And what they did, they ended up cutting off the original one because it had rivets. So I put down here some cardboard. We're going to go ahead and knock these out completely and rivet in the new one before we go to install it. So that's the plan right now. And then we're going to, once we get it all in, we'll put the sway bar on. We'll get it all wired up, go for a test drive. And it's really hot. That's why I'm melting.
You are sweating a lot.
I am. Just gave me a little flexology. It's got a little bit of dent in it now, but no big deal. There it is. Boom. Not too bad. It's almost like pulling a tooth out, which has just happened to me, so I should know. So yeah, once we're going to get the rest of these out, we'll go ahead and get our pop rivets in and start to fit it in. The original fan was pop riveted on there, so they just, I guess to save space, they're just going to go ahead and give me, they sent us 5 in case we mess up one, but they sent us brand new pop rivets. So what I'm doing here.
Are these as strong as a weld?
No, not as strong as a weld. What they do, they hold things to a low profile without having to use nuts and bolts.
Yeah.
But the thing about it is, if you have to ever remove it,
easier to remove than a weld. Yeah.
No, they're easier to remove than a weld, but a lot harder than a screw.
Yeah.
Because once this gets open, as you see, because we're going to let her do it, I'm going to knock off the rest of these. There we go. Everything becomes a project. This was supposed to be a simple install, and there it is. So that's kind of like I was saying, we couldn't put a screw underneath here. It's really tight. You know, we may end up damaging it, or if we go from the top down, it may go through the radiator. So the pop rivet ends up being the best, safest way. Yeah, almost exact to the T, it looks like. The only difference, since we're going with the electric fan, he has the sensor right here, the temperature sensor is placed on top. So you guys can tell, like down to the little bars. They did a really nice job with this, so it's exact to size.
Are you going to want to spray it black?
No, I think I'm going to leave it as is. I think it'll counter the car, and so it's going to give it a nice little standing look, you know what I mean? I think that they want me to put on the original fan back on there, but we will see how much space we have once we get to it. Now, the other difference is, to Mr. Ed, we're letting go of some weight.
How much do you think that weighs?
That's probably a good 20 pounds.
Yeah.
15 pounds.
Oh, shit.
In consideration to this guy, this is a 3-quart full aluminum.
Yeah.
And, you know.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
You're getting some horsepower there.
Hopefully it cools off a lot faster. That's what I want.
That's a huge weight difference.
Yeah. See, nothing's been damaged.
Right.
Maybe a little pushed down on that side, but it's okay.
Yep, you're fired.
Dustin would have fired me. So now, this guy. How's it go? Oh. Actually face it this way. Nope, I'll face it down. that's how it'll shoot. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna put these back underneath there again. So we don't.
Are you sure that's the right position?
Yeah, this is the right position because we're gonna hang our connector down to the bottom here. So this is the top side, top hose, bottom hose. Well, these are for our transmission cooler, but we're not using them since we have a little dude just hanging over there right now. So I'm not too worried about that. But yeah, so everything else is pretty much in position. So all we gotta do is pop rivet it into place and see if we can get it on there and see if we can get it to work. And again, I'm gonna go ahead and install this cardboard just for safety precautions. Through. Perfect. These guys right here, different sizes, different pop rivets. So these guys are, I guess you would say, the biggest ones. So we're gonna go ahead and install these. Now, be careful how you do it. I'm gonna lift up a little bit. Now you wanna push in on it. You wanna push it all the way down. And make sure you just hit some tight, firm pressure on it, not too much.
Gasket or like anything rubberized behind it to keep it from.
Well, the whole thing about it that's going to happen, as the little ball comes through, it's actually going to bring both pieces together and keep them together.
Perfectly.
So yeah, so the rubber grommet is not going to be needed.
Yeah, grommet, that's the word. So push down more.
Push down more. There you go.
That was easy. I said that too soon, probably.
That's the one.
That's right. Don't look at that little scratch right there. That did not just happen. Yes,
No. These are April's hands.
Nice. What's in there? I'm the inspector. I just gotta make sure.
There it is.
Perfect. That's not coming off. I mean, in this I pulled it off, but I didn't do that.
There that is. Now remember, guys, these cars are fiberglass, so they bend, scratch, and destroy easy.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, look at that. Oop. Oh, come back up. I just said that. All right. That first hole right there on top, if you can get that right there.
Yeah, on the top.
Yeah. We're just kind of pointing it up. Maybe. Let me see. Oh.
I'm gonna push this metal in towards you a little bit.
And you're gonna work right there. Now, if you guys see me dancing around, this is because, again, this car is all fiberglass, and the last thing I want to do, much like I already did, was scratch the hood. So, exhaust, in order for you to get, what are you gonna get? Let's go ahead. Here. So what gets snagged are those lines, so we're gonna have to make sure we move them over before it drops.
Right.
So that's the only thing that snags. That's what snagged the first time.
I mean, the bottom holes might have the same issue.
Oh, that's right.
So that,
You're right.
I don't know if they will, though. They might.
No, good call. You got them screws, right?
Yeah. Okay, hope this works.
We know we can get the one side on.
Do you want this out of the way?
Oh yeah, because it's gonna go back on, so it is kind of out of the way already.
Okay.
Yeah. A little bit of room coming back this way, so we may be in the clear.
Let me get this working because you're dripping. Ugh. Got that wood dripping.
I always do this. It's the heat.
It's catching on the metal, so when you twist it, it lets it move forward. You know, because it's catching on the bracket and the bracket for the radiator.
Perfect. It went through?
Yeah, it's perfect actually. It's not too much where it's going to rattle around or anything. You did it just right. Here's some of the other ones.
We just gotta see if the bottom ones are gonna catch as well. The ones down in here at the bottom.
I'm just gonna close my eyes and hope it does.
That's how most mechanics work.
Come on, baby. Not
Go
feeling
up.
it.
Well, although it is built to specification, actually, you know what? We're gonna go one hole down,
Okay.
April, because look, you see how this
Yeah.
is? This is above the hood mark.
Oh, yeah.
So what I'll do,
So-
yeah, let's take it off. I'll hold it up.
Here, you're gonna have to do that one.
It went in, and so it just goes to show you that I did the wrong holes.
It's your first time, so let's
It is, it is. It's my first Corvette ever.
Is it?
No. No, I've smashed plenty. With my other car. Hold on, when I let this, when this one comes off,
Yeah.
when this one comes off, that one will come off.
You might need a little, like you.
Alright. You see how this guy over here does? That's in?
Yeah.
Yeah, we're gonna kind of run into the same issue that, well, maybe not. No, yeah, we're gonna run into the same issue.
Open it
I'll have to
up.
bore it out a little bit.
No, down. Yeah.
Do you want it closer?
No, it's perfect.
There it went. How about that second one down here? Does it look like it lined up? Because I can't really tell. That's the one you brought. It's okay.
I know, I picked it up. There's still one missing.
So you see this bar goes like this. And before the other fan was about right on top, as you could tell, it was
yeah.
scratching it. That's where the other fan was sitting. So they sent us a lower profile fan.
Nice.
So to you guys out there with these 57 Corvettes, even possibly up to the 61s, the wits, they know what they're doing. We send it back to them. Took us about a week. We got it. I know the video's late, so don't mock me. We're finishing it up. Plus, we got April.
That's the best part, right? Not really.
There's water. And they sit right underneath here like so. Like that.
Oh,
And then our friend right here. Okay. Now he's just being funny. Like that. Bam. And then this bad boy. Right open. So I'm gonna go underneath and kind of set this guy where it should be, because I'm sure it goes like this. And then this guy is gonna go right there, like so. That's how it's gonna go. Oh, just the corner.
yeah, it's getting there.
Well, what ended up happening, we ended up sending in for a different fan because the other fan was about this high over.
That's what we were talking about
Yeah.
last time.
And we're still,
Is that metal right there? That's in the hole?
no, it's a piece of wood.
Okay.
Let me see if I can knock it off. But the thing about it is, it won't go back. Let me see if I line it up from underneath. As you guys know, me and April here, we went at it and went to war with this little 57 Corvette.
Oh, yeah.
And we installed the DeWitt's all aluminum electric fan setup. This is supposed to be a plug and play setup, mount it and go, fill it, and go ahead and have fun with it. But obviously, the same problem we're having now that we did the first time, only not as severe. The first time, we couldn't even get the sway bar on there, hence the sway bar wasn't on.
Right.
Now at least we get to bolt one side. April was able to put this one on there, and I got the sway bar links on there. Here's the problem. This fan, even though it's a low ride fan, it's actually very much smaller. The old fan used to come over the sway bar. This one is actually in front of it. But as you guys can tell, even though my bottom bracket is lined up and I can screw it down, my sway bar is completely off. And as I try to move it, you can see that my fan is already on it. Not only that, I have yet to finish screwing in my radiator, which means I still got about a half an inch coming forward.
You don't want this riding up on a fan. You might need some function in it if it's pushing.
I don't want to crush it, that's right. And so I think that the next step I'm going to do is either call DeWitt, see if they have anything else, or I'm just going to go ahead and give this some heat and give this a loop to give me enough space. It's only got to be a half an inch, and I'm pretty sure I should be able to squeeze that out of this.
Now, is that going to affect the quality of the car at all if you got a bend in here?
I'm hoping that it doesn't affect. The only thing that I think can affect, it'll bring the bar in closer, because right now it's straight. So if I bend it, obviously the bar's going to come in this way. I think that if I could play with it just to put some heat, I can bring the outside ones back to a position and kind of give myself a custom sway bar, but it shouldn't be that bad of a difference.
Right. Well, you know what's interesting? In '58, they had these hood louvers. They had 8 of them across the hood, and they were going to be functional, but when you were at high speeds, oil would start spewing out onto the windshield, so you couldn't have them. So you'll see on 58, they still have those louvers. They're covered because they're not functional. They didn't have enough time to change it in the design department. But I'm wondering why these engines overheat so much, why they wanted to put those louvers on in 58, didn't quite make it. What is with these engines that get so hot?
One of the things that I read up on a lot of the forums, and a lot of Chevy guys say, a lot of the 57s, 58s, what happens here, there's 2 situations. You could have it at, they say the perfect timing for these cars is usually 12 degrees before top dead center, and it should be just fine. There's 2 things. If you retard the timing on this car, although it will start up much faster and respond a little bit better, the car will tend to overheat.
Right.
And if you advance the timing, you'll have a hell of a time trying to start it, but the car won't overheat.
Right.
So there's going to be some trickery that we're going to end up going into checking out to see if our timing is right where it should be, along with making sure that we stay cool. Now, that was the problem with these cars. You couldn't cruise them too long, they overheat. That's what we're trying to do. We're trying to
Now, have you heard of the airbox that
I
they did install on like 47 or 43 of these? There's kind of a box right here that connected to the left side of the radiator and then fed right into the fuel injection. This one's not a fuel injection, 283, but it did cool the car. A lot of people didn't install them, but is that something to look into?
Well,
I don't know.
You heard that, D, and you heard it here. And MCSC Greenwheels, April Rose giving in the detail that I did not know that we could probably do. So we'll look into that. But as of right now, we're going to try and look for a solution to see what we can. Pulley on here, so we could get the belt drive, you know, for the alternator. So we put the pulley on there, and then we put a fan. It's got a little tiny fan.
Like, how much room do you have for this bar to come back?
Well, without the, I could actually take it back further about that far, because the fan ain't that big. You know, this is our fan now. I don't necessarily think.
Can you just put this bar and switch it so it bumps out this way?
No, because the arms on the other side are facing this way, so if I turn it around, they'll be going back that way.
Got it.
Or maybe, you just gave me an idea, April Rose. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna do something crazy just that April put in my head. She said, let's flip it backwards. And I said, you can't, because then they'll be up that way. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna take it off. I'm gonna flip the whole thing around.
Oh yeah.
Keep the loop back there. I'm kind of like inverted, so I'm gonna turn it upside down. So
We
let's
don't
see
know
if
if
this
it's gonna
works.
work, but we're gonna try it.
Watch it work.
This way. All right. So this is how our sway bar sits right now, right? And we have a problem with this loop.
Right.
I guess it ain't gonna work. Because my idea was to bring the loop backwards, but it ain't gonna work.
Can you just bend it? Let's see how strong you are. Ready, set, go.
It's gonna be a tough bend. Because I was thinking just put a bend down the middle, but that's gonna be a real tough bend.
No, because you have to bump out this whole section.
Right. We have to bump out at least a half inch back there. So like kind of like what would happen, well, the bar will do this. And I would have to set these back that way and kind of bring in another curve like this here. So my initial idea was to do this to it, but I guess it's the same thing. It just goes lower, or maybe it may give me. If it was like this, it'd be better. But my sway bar links are over here, so I was thinking of doing that, but like this. And this is actually, it slopes up and forward. So let's see what we do.
Yeah.
It's a sad conclusion. As you guys know, here at MCSC, we like to bring you guys a beginning, middle, and an end. And so a lot of times, not a lot of times, we try to always make it work. Unfortunately for this guy, it's not going to work. This little sway bar here, this little measly piece of metal, it's not allowing it for all the way through. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to do some trickery actually. I'm going to take me and the boys and bring the fire in and turn this solid piece of metal into some kind of liquid so I can bend it a little bit. And I'm going to give it a curve right back here. All we need is about a 1/2 inch radius. Try to keep this all straight, so I'm going to have to kind of make a jig. Guys, you stay tuned for that. Hey, I want to thank April Rose coming in here, getting her hands dirty with
I
us.
could just bend it though. Just
I hope so.
I got this.
I hope
okay?
so. If she did
Ready?
that, Wonder Woman would be awesome here. Then we finish the car, go test driving it in the rain.
We got this. I got this.
Yeah? All right. Stay tuned for the fire then, guys. Hey, everybody on Facebook, go on there. Find yourself a Mustang or 57 Corvette. At least by then, I'll let you know how to put in an electric radiator. At least we will. Go to our Instagram page. Find April Rose on Instagram. Go ahead and subscribe. Hey, don't forget me though. We're MCSC Greenwheels. And everybody on our YouTube channel, want to thank everybody. Please comment, like, share, and most importantly, guys, subscribe. You know somebody that needs this. I don't know. Show them. Let's help out each other. See you guys soon. Take care.
I got this.